The town of Ruby has been here for 107 years.
The town of Ruby was established in 1911. Gold in Ruby was discovered in 1906, which brought prospectors to the area. People moved here because of a gold rush. There were over 1,000 miners here in Ruby at one time.
Dogs were the main form of transportation in this area until snow-goes came in the 1960s.
Dogs were domesticated 10,000 years ago. Dogs were domesticated because they're very useful animals. They could be used for transport, hunting, and other stuff.
I remember this old guy used to come down from Cochrane's with his dog team, and his dog team looked like wolves. They were huge. They were entirely different than the dog teams that we see here in the village now, and maybe they were part wolves, but they certainly were different.
Dog mushing in Ruby has a long history that continues today. Ruby is on the Iditarod Trail. The Iditarod is based off of the Serum Run that took place in 1925. My great-grandpa Billy McCarty was the 9th musher in the Serum Run.
In the early days of Ruby, cargo was transported by a steamship in the summer and pulled by a dog team in the winter. When the planes came, they replaced the dog team as the main method of cargo transport in the winter.
There used to be many buildings in Ruby, but over the years, fires and flooding took out the buildings on First Street.
Oh, this place was a big place, goodness. I was born here in Ruby in 1930. There was a sawmill, and people from Cochrane's used to cut logs and bring them down here in rafts to cut up to make into homes around here.
A fire in 1929 and then a flood in 1931 took out what was left of the buildings on the riverfront.
When I was 8 years old, my mom and dad moved us to Cochrane's.
By 1939, there were only 139 residents. During World War II, most white residents left and the mining operations shut down.
When I was 13, there was about 8 of us were sent to Eklutna school. I went to school there a year and I liked the school. I liked everything there. I made a lot of friends. I liked the dorm matrons, my teachers, just everything. Then when the next year came time to go back, my dad took over the NC store and the postmaster by that time, so he said I had enough schooling that he wanted me to help him in the store in the post office, so that's what I did. And that pretty much knocked a big hole in the attendance, and so the school closed down then.
After World War II, Cochrane's people moved to Ruby and the population started to increase. People came from Cochrane's because there was no school up there.
I moved down here in 1955, around that area from Cochrane's, and went to that school that's down there below the hall.
The Athabascan people were nomadic. Throughout the season, they had spring camp, fishing camp, and trapping camp.
When I first moved down, we went to, spring camp, winter camp, and summer camp. And when we're out at trap line or spring camp, the teachers would give us homework to do, and our parents or whoever we were with, they weren't good at reading or writing, so a lot of the time I had to teach myself.
When I was small, we had the school downtown that time, and I wasn't a good student because I wanted to be out in the woods all the time. So I just sit by the window and look outdoors, look through the window, look out into the woods. And that's where I spend most of my time, When I wasn't at school, I was always out in the woods. And other kids were playing and stuff, but I was out trying to get something to eat or something, and trapping, maybe catching rabbits.
Everybody had dog teams at the time, and we had to go haul water from the spring. The spring is still there, but no one uses it anymore. But we used to just get out of school 3 or 4 in the afternoon and run home and race to be the first one back there, and we used to gather ice on the river too for washing or drinking or something like that. And it's really has changed.
It was work, but it's something that we had to do, and we never thought of it as work, but we had fun. I think everything was fun a long time ago.
We used to play marbles, and as girls would make little paper dolls and, make their little dresses, and little dog teams. We actually made the little paper dog teams too, and own hopscotch, jump rope, and like you guys do today, it is you play tag. We did a lot of that.
In Cochrans, we used to slide down a lot. You kids are so lucky nowadays. You got little sleds and everything. We were rush all over town looking for paper boxes to slide on.
We'd get cardboard,
And a lot of times we'd fight over that paper box, but we used to have a lot of fun.
We used to make skis out of those old barrels. I don't know if you know what a barrel is. It's held together by a wire. So you take it apart and it's curved like that. We used to make skis out of that.
Athabascans traditionally had 4 different kinds of snowshoes. My Grandpa George knows how to make them today.
I got back from the Navy and service, and I went to the trapping camp. Then I bought a pair of snowshoes in Seattle. I got out of the service in Seattle, and so my sister Barbara told me to buy snowshoes and buy a sleeping bag. So I went to the camp, Howard, and my dad was up there, and then I started snowshoe racing. My brother Howard was already snowshoe racing and winning, and I didn't have snowshoes. I couldn't get anybody to make me one. I got tired of borrowing them, so I pretty much taught myself. They weren't very good snowshoes, but it was a start, and that was quite a few years ago.
For 11,000 years, the Athabascan people lived in this area.
I remember Uncle Bill McCarty's camp. When you're coming down from Cochrans, the beach would be just red with salmon. You don't see that no more. And when you leave Cochrans, down at the point there, you'd see Grandpa Frank Albert, George's grandpa. His camp, the beach would be just all red with salmon. Those are very precious memories of mine. Nobody was poor. Some people thought that just because we lived in tents or little cabins that we were poor people. We were rich in a lot of ways. Richer than they are now.